Hello and good afternoon. My name is Martin Coward, and I want to welcome you to Noonday Meditation and Contemplative Prayer Power Hour, where we gather together every day here in our Facebook Live space to love and support each other through this pandemic. So thank you for joining me, and if you would, please just type in hello into the chat box so that I can know that you're here. So, what are you upset about today? My oh my, I can be upset about a whole litany of things. I don't know about you, but I can be upset about having to wear a mask to the Home Depot. I can get upset about not being able to go out and spend time with my friends, can't go to church on Sunday and gather with people that I enjoy being with. I think that's what I'm upset about with the most sometimes. I can easily get upset with our politicians and our government for the lack of leadership that's led to so much unnecessary loss of life. I mean, the list can go on and on and on and on. And I can get so caught up in all the things that I'm upset about then I can find myself in a place of despair and anxiety and frustration and pain, literally, pain and anger. And I do sometimes. And the question becomes, when does it get so painful that I need an escape? I need an outlet. And we have a variety of different ways we can escape from this pain. Some people may drink too much, or they may binge watch television, or they might do all sorts of things to distract themselves from the pain they're experiencing based on the things they're upset about. There's a wonderful, wonderful little statement that's used in AA 12-step recovery circles, and I think it comes from a deeper spiritual truth than that, and that is, this too shall pass. And this too shall pass. Hey, Mindy, happy Tuesday. Good to see you. And I see Mary Jo's here, but I'm not. Where are you? Mary Jo is here, but I am not. Okay. I will just go along with that. And I'm glad to see whoever's here is here, and whoever's not here, you're here in another form. But there's a little statement called, this too shall pass. And it's a simple and often misunderstatement. And what it really boils down to is an old Buddhist and an old Christian mysticism teaching of the impermanence of things. If something is good and it feels good, don't attach to it, because it's just an object, it's just form that's here in the moment. And if it's something that we're upset about, if it's something that's hurting us, it feels painful, it too is impermanent. So the beginning is when the reminder, the pointer is to the truth, and the truth is the impermanence of the material world and of the objectives. And what we need is, I'm gonna read a quote from Eckhart Tolle that I think is pretty smart. We need space to free us from the upsets. We need to transcend the ego-thinking mind into the creative, aware mind of the heart, or the presence of now, as Eckhart Tolle calls it. Eckhart says, whenever you are upset about an event, a person, or a situation, the real cause is not the event, the person, or the situation, but a loss of true perspective that space can provide. You see, he calls that there are two levels of consciousness. There is the material, the objective consciousness of the world we live in, and then there is spatial consciousness, which is the world in which all form is created. It is what we are. It is the life force within us. But we get so caught up in the clutterness, in the upset, that we lose perspective of the truth of who we are. And there are people who've never even discovered this truth, actually, unfortunately. And as a result, the world has continued to live in a lot of pain and suffering. Unnecessarily, because we're stuck in this objective conscious mentality. We're really unaware of this higher level of consciousness called spaciousness. What the Buddha called emptiness, and what Jesus called the kingdom of heaven. And the whole purpose of a contemplative practice, which is just a form of meditation, is a way to allow us to go inside ourselves and experience this spaciousness, this spacious reality of truth. Because when we're able to put some space around the objects, we can see the impermanence of them, and we also have the opportunity to create new objects, new form, out of the formless consciousness of which we are. And that's exciting. And that's the new earth, a new earth that Eckhart is talking about in his wonderful book that I'm rereading again called A New Earth. It is just fascinating, and that's where I got a lot of my concepts today to talk about, because I'm just fascinated with what he wrote about 15 years ago and how that seems to be coming into manifestation during the COVID-19 pandemic. All the old objective, ego-driven structures, economic structures, laws and rules to protect certain classes of people, all of that seems to be imploding. Because it's built on fear. And what we're being forced to do with the pandemic is to actually go in and question our fears and inquire. Oh, there's my friend Audrey. Hello, Audrey Smalls. You're back, and you're back with full power. I'm so glad you're here. Always a delight to see your name come up on the board. Thank you for saying hello as well. We're talking. What might you be upset about today? And what we're talking about is what Eckhart says. Eckhart Tolle, who I'm reading his book right now called A New Earth, which I highly recommend. He talks about we're rarely upset about the events, the people, and situations we think we're upset about. We're upset with perspective. We have lost perspective of the truth. That the impermanence of the things we're upset about it's just life happening as it is. And when we can go into a contemplative practice, when we can surrender and let go of our attachments to these objectives, to these events, to these people that we're upset about, surrender them to a higher level of consciousness, spatial consciousness, that's freedom. That's freedom from the pain and the suffering. This too shall pass. All of it will pass. And the beauty is we as manifestors, as co-creators of the world, when we tap into that higher level of consciousness, what I like to call the creative, aware mind that we all have within us. There is no human being that does not have this dimension. However, most people, many people, are unaware of it. And that's why we have so much pain and suffering. However, what I'm discovering, and what I think you may be discovering, in fact, over here now, is that more and more people are waking up in various ways to this truth of spatial consciousness. This timeless, steaming, formless emptiness, as Buddha calls it, that creates everything. And that's what we are. And that is an exciting way to live. So this is a very exciting time for people who've made the choice, like you and I have, to wake up to this truth. We have been blinded by this old blanket of fear that has trapped us into an illusion that we're this separate identity. And actually, Martin Coward, without the creative aware mind, is powerless. And so is everybody else, by the way. But they live under the illusion that they have some false sense of power brought on by money, or maybe their position, or etc. They're not real leaders. They're people who are drunk on power. And what we need right now in our country, in our world, are real leaders. People who lead from the heart. People who are aware of this higher level of consciousness and begin to lead from that place, create rules, create systems and structures, economic systems built out of that. And so I'm always talking about, let's join together and create a world of love, of joy and prosperity, because that is what we are. It's not something we achieve. We don't go out and find love. We don't go out and achieve prosperity or abundance. We are love. We are joy. We are prosperity. So what we do is we learn to come and we bring that into the world and share it in service for the benefit of others. And in the allowing of that force to work within us, we are creating what Eckhart Tolle calls a new earth. And I want to read a little bit from what he had to say, where this came from this morning. I think it's fascinating. It's called The Discovery of Inner Peace. People's lives are cluttered up with things, material things, things to do and things to think about. Their lives are like the history of humanity, which Winston Churchill defined as one damn thing after another. Yeah, yes, when our cage becomes our spine. Yeah, I'd like to explore that a little bit deeper. When our cage becomes our spine, yeah. We have to have courage to free ourselves from the cage. Which Winston Churchill defined as one damn thing after another. Doesn't it feel like one damn thing after another sometimes right now? Their minds are filled with the clutter of thoughts, one thing after another. This is the dimension of object consciousness that is many people's predominant reality, and that is why their lives are so out of balance. Objective consciousness needs to be balanced by space consciousness for sanity to return to our planet and for humanity to fulfill its destiny, its divine purpose, as I like to say. The arising of space consciousness is the next stage in the evolution of humanity. I'm going to read that one more time, but that's exactly why I find this book so powerful. I mean, this book is just full of this stuff, and it seems so much truer and real than anything else I can imagine, and it's exciting. The arising of space consciousness is the next stage in the evolution of humanity. Space consciousness means that in addition to being conscious of things, which always come down to sense perceptions, thoughts, and emotions, there is an undercurrent of awareness. Awareness implies that you are not only conscious of things, objects, but you are also conscious of being conscious. Think about that for a second. Are you conscious of being conscious right now? That's what separates us from other animals. The dog is not aware that it's a dog. It's just intuitively acting like a dog. However, human beings are aware that we're conscious. And the more we become aware of our consciousness, the freer we are. If you can sense an alert inner stillness in the background while things happen in the foreground, that's it. This dimension is in everyone, but most people are completely unaware of it. Sometimes I point to it by saying, can you feel your own presence? And that's what I do. And I say, raise your hands before we meditate. I want you to feel your presence. What raised your hands? Feel the presence of you hearing my voice. Feel the presence of me speaking. If I just stop in the moment and I get really present, the word I might say next may change. Because I've shifted from what I thought I should say to what presence wants to say in this moment. So, can you feel your own presence? Space consciousness represents not only freedom from ego, but also dependency on things of this world, from materialism and materiality. It is the spiritual dimension which alone can give transcendent and true meaning to this world. He said we have lost perspective of the real world because we're so occupied with the material world, with our objectives, consciousness, with our problems, with our concerns, with our worries. It's with our upsets. We're so cluttered with that we forget, we lose awareness of the truth, we lose perception. So that's why we come back here and we meditate. We practice contemplative prayer, which is a form of meditation, which connects us to that higher presence within us. Hello there, Ray. Wow, what a treat to see you today. I haven't seen you in a long, long time. Wonderful to see your beautiful smile coming across the screen. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. I'm just filled with joy as I see your smile coming up and you coming to say hello. That is such a joy. Ray and I have been friends for years, and I think this is the first time I've seen you here, at least the first time you said hello. So thank you. Thank you so much for joining us today, making your comment how beautiful it is. And it's just beautiful that you're here with us, because this is what we're doing. This is what we're doing to evolve humanity into a new earth, as Eckhart Tolle calls it. And I'm reading from A New Earth in case you joined me right. It is the spiritual dimension which alone can give transcendent and true meaning to this world. Whenever you're upset about an event, a person, or a situation, the real cause is not the event, person, or situation, but a loss of true perspective that only true consciousness can provide. I'll read that again. Whenever you're upset about an event, a person, or a situation, the real cause is not the person, the event, or situation, but a loss of true perspective that only space can provide. You're trapped in objective consciousness, unaware of this timeless inner space of consciousness itself. The words, "this too will pass," when used as a pointer, can restore awareness of that dimension within you. That's the power of that statement. It can point you back into true awareness that that's who you are. You can stop that. Wait a minute. All these things I'm upset about are just impermanent blips on this experience of life. But and I become aware that I am of a higher dimension. Another point of the truth in you is contained in the following statement: I am never upset for the reason I think. So can you feel your own presence? Mary Jo is not upset about anything, is what I was trying. Wonderful. I love that you're not upset with anything. That is fantastic. Until you get upset about something. It'd be kind of hard to go through life without ever getting upset. We can't not include, we transcend and include our lower dimensions. I can find myself turning on the television and I can get so upset quickly. And I've been doing this practice for years until I have to say, oh, wait a minute. I'm all upset about something that I can't control. Let it go. But I'm glad in this moment you're not upset about anything. That's fantastic. Thanks for giving us this time to reset from the toxic times we are living. You're so welcome. Thank you for being here. That's why we do this. And that's why we need to heal ourselves from the toxic time. We created a very toxic world over the last 2,000 years. When the early church, the early Christian church, basically cut out the divine feminine, the truth of the divine feminine and the wisdom gospels, we ended up with a pretty unbalanced set of rules and laws and belief systems that have really hurt the world. And I believe COVID-19 is waking us up to that truth. I call this the divine feminine, waking us up. So yes, waking us up. We don't, the world, I love the world, how you use Aaron, the word toxic, because we're often living in toxic times and we don't even know they're toxic because they become so ingrained in our culture. I mean, our economic systems are so toxic and painful. They need to implode. So people talk about this global financial crisis. I think we need a global financial, not so people get hurt by it, but the toxicity needs to go away, and out of the act needs to burn itself up, its own pain, its own toxicity, in order for us to create a new earth, new socioeconomic systems that are built on love, prosperity, and joy, built on truth. And that is exciting because that is what we're doing right now, in this moment. It's not something we're going to do tomorrow. It's something, there is no tomorrow. There's only right now. And that's what you and I are doing right this minute by letting go of the things that are upset about and becoming aware that we are much bigger, much more exciting, more magnificent, more creative than any of that. That's exciting. That is very, very exciting. God, the Divine Mother, and the Divine Father together create balance and love and joy in the world. We've been living under only I don't even call it Divine Father, but the egoic illusions of the human mind for power and control for way too long. And look what we've gotten ourselves into. That's how we got here. And for those of you on this call and many, many, many millions around the world who have the courage to step in and discover the truth within themselves, but let me caution you one thing too about being toxic. You've got to own your part in the toxicity. We've all got to own where we participated in the creation of this toxic world. If we're still thinking in terms of some other group of people that created the toxicity, we're not there yet. There is no other. It's only us. We create, but the beauty is when we accept responsibility individually for our participation in the creation of this toxic world we live in, then we can heal ourselves and heal each other and create a possibility for a new earth. But we first have to realize we're a part of the creation of where we are today. And once we realize we're part of the creation of where we are today, we get to be in the wonderful place of participating in the creation of tomorrow. We're going to participate in one way or the other, because that's what we do. We are creators. We are manifestors. The question becomes, where do you want to create from? Do you want to create from the heart, or do you want to create from the ego? And those of us that are contemplatives and mystics and people who understand that the life force lives within us in that spacious consciousness are having fun. We're having fun. It's like our day is here. Our day is here. So thank you for being here. There's some new names on here, and I'm really excited about that. So now, and don't go away. People leave during the meditation. There's a voice inside of you that's a lot smarter than I am. My purpose of talking and reading is to begin to bombard your mind with spiritual truths, to share spiritual wisdom that's come across my screen with you, to open up those channel ways, the neural waves within your binary brain to that higher dimension within you. So the best part is the 20 minutes of contemplative prayer. This just leading up to it is to prepare your mind for the opportunity for the creative aware mind to make itself known, to make its presence known to you. And the more we practice that presence being known to us, the more exciting it is. So whatever your little ego is telling you that you need to go do instead of this, don't do it. Just this one time. Just really. All we're going to do is we're going to get still, quiet the mind by focusing on our breath a little bit and a few things. And listening. Finding that aware presence within ourselves to guide us through the rest of the day. Okay? Will you do that for me today? If you can't, I understand. I don't mind upsetting anybody, but I'll tell you something. If you're not doing the meditation, if you're just coming to hear my words, you're missing the best part. I can tell you. There's a voice deep inside of you that's got a lot more wisdom to share with you directly than I do. I'm just guiding you to the spot. I'm just taking you to the well. It's your chance now to drink and listen. It's in you. That spacious awareness is within each person hearing my voice. Whether you're hearing my voice or not, it's within you. Let's set the timer and let's meditate. And let's reset. Bear with me. I use something called Insight Timer. It's an application on my iPhone. It's free. It's a great, if you want to meditate, it's a great little application for you to get. And what you're going to get today is I'm going to do a little meditation teaching today. I'm going to do a little contemplative prayer teaching before we start, because I think it's important. And people ask me, what is contemplative prayer and why is that different from meditation? Contemplative prayer is a form of meditation. It's a prayer with a purpose to open up that broader dimension. The prayer and meditation all can be done for various purposes. But this form of contemplative prayer is to open up the truth of our awareness of who we are. Is to bring presence into the moment. That's it. So you're going to hear a bell. I'm going to guide us into the beginning of it, and then I'm going to shut up to get still myself. And you're going to hear 3 interval bells along the way. And I may add a few comments there. And the purpose of those interval bells is to wake us up from our trances. Sometimes we think we're meditating. What we're really doing is we're going into a deep thought. And that's not meditation. So the idea is these interval bells wake us up and help us reset so we can go back into that spacious place within ourselves. Okay? So again, we can start. Raise your arms in the air. Are you present? Presence? Let that be an opportunity to think, what raised my hand? I know your muscles did, but without that life presence within you, they wouldn't come up, I promise. So just feel the life presence within your fingers right now. Feel that life presence at the top of your head. Feel it in your muscles of your shoulders as you're holding up your arms, listening to the direction of presence to hold your arms up in the air. And feel the presence within your feet. Feel the spirit within your body, that life force within you. And now put your hands on your heart. Just get still. And don't think about your heart beating. Feel your heart beating. Feel inside your body. What is it like to be you? What is it like for presence to live inside the form of you? Ask it. Hey, presence, what's it like to be inside me? That's a good question. Hello, presence. What's it like for you to live within me? And lay your hands in your lap and get comfortable. And notice the space between my words. That spaciousness. Notice what happens between my words. There may be a second or two of silence waiting to hear the next word before thoughts begin to come in. Become aware of that. Awareness, human consciousness becomes unaware that it's conscious. Become aware of your breath. The involuntary life force mechanisms, billions of them at work right now within your body to support this marvelous, marvelous miracle called a human being. It's you. Let go of any illusions of time. Allow yourself to free yourself from the illusion of time. Time is purely a construction of the ego, the human mind. Reality is infinite and timeless. We are infinite and timeless. Open your heart to that truth. There's the first interval bell. Allow the vibration to take you deeper within yourself, deeper into the stillness.
And that was the bell for 20 minutes. Welcome to hear any new awarenesses that might have come up. Please put them in the chat. The invitation for you to complete this hour is take out your journal and reflect on any new awarenesses you discovered about yourself today. Maybe you became aware that you have a hard time quieting your mind. Or maybe you just had one small glimpse of something deeper. Whatever you experienced was yours to experience. Claim it, own it, write about it, learn from it. Keeping a journal of your life, your experiences, your fears, your upsets, the ways you let it go, is a powerful tool to free you from the egoic mind. Because it helps us remember the truth. It helps us remember the truth of who we are. We take this experience and we write about it. Because we're all learning. We're all in this dance together. Sometimes we're leading and sometimes we're following. But we're dancing. We have a short time on this planet in these bodies. And that's beautiful.
And that's precious. So as Mary Oliver says, so tell me, what do you plan to do with your one wild and precious life? Right about that. What do you plan to do with your one wild and precious life? May love and prosperity prevail. Thank you for joining me. I'll be back tomorrow at noon. Please come back. And if any of you like to have a conversation, some of you I haven't seen in a while, and I'd love to, any of you, I'd always welcome to have a conversation. Just send me a little note in my Facebook Messenger to reach out, and we'll schedule some time. It'll be fun to reconnect with you and just have a Zoom call one-on-one, and love to hear about what you're up to, what you're doing, how you're doing through the pandemic, how we can love and support each other more directly, maybe. So um, please don't hesitate. Same thing for some of you who I've known for a long time. Send me a note in my messenger, and let's set up a time to talk. I can tell you something. I got plenty of time for anybody on this call. I want to hear what you got to say. I want to know what you're doing. I'm excited about what we're doing. So, may love and prosperity prevail. Thank you so much.